Pastor Shane. Welcome to His Vision Ministries today. In this nugget, I'm going to speak to you on the subject of trusting God when the path is unclear. And we're going to be in a very familiar passage of Scripture, and that's Proverbs chapter number 3, verses 5 and 6. The Bible reads, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." You know, friend, as we read this passage of Scripture here, it makes me think of, one of the most difficult aspects of spiritual direction is following God when we cannot see the entire path that is ahead. We just naturally want details, we want timelines, we want guarantees, but yet God often reveals only the next step rather than the entire journey. As we think back in the Old Testament, as we read about Abraham was a very powerful example. Why was that? Because God called him to leave his homeland and to go and to travel to a place that he would later reveal. And so think about it. Abraham didn't have GPS or a map or any of those things that we have today to get you to your next destination, or an atlas. I don't know if you remember an atlas or not. He did not even know the destination. He just simply trusted the one who called him. Faith is not knowing where you're going, it's knowing who is leading you. And today, many believers become frustrated because they want certainty before obedience. And so God's pattern is often the opposite. He calls us to obedience, and then what happens is He reveals more of His plan. The Israelites, remember them? They experienced this as they followed the pillar of the cloud by day and the fire by night. The Shekinah cloud of glory is what I call it. They moved only when God moved. And so trust is the bridge between God's promises and our obedience. Spiritual direction requires surrendering the illusion of control. And so one of the things we have to do is recognize that God's wisdom seeks our understanding. It exceeds our understanding. And so what appears confusing to us, it may seem clear to Him. Sometimes God's direction seems delayed. But listen, His delays are never wasted. He uses waiting seasons to strengthen our faith, to deepen our character, and to prepare us for whatever it is that lies ahead. Waiting is not evidence that God has forgotten us. It's often evidence that He is working behind the scenes, which He's always doing on your behalf and on my behalf. Friend, listen, if you're facing uncertainty today, remember God is not asking you to understand everything. He's just simply asking you to trust Him. His guidance may come one step at a time, but I want you to know He never, ever abandons those who follow Him. And so today I want you to kind of reflect on a couple things. Friend, ask yourself, is there an area of your life where you're just really right now struggling to trust God's direction? And what fears is it that arises when the future just seems so uncertain? What is that you're dealing with? And how is it that you maybe can practice trusting God for whatever that next step is that you need to take, even maybe today? And then as you go to the Lord in prayer, just ask Him to teach you to trust. It's that simple. And that's what I'm going to be praying for you today. I want to thank each and every one of you for visiting and for joining for these daily nuggets. Be sure to check us out at hisvision.org. Also, you can get my personal ministry site at shanelawson.com. Until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. We'll see you again soon. Take care.